the crew. Well done. I wanted to let you know that we've actually come halfway. We are halfway to London. Well, we've got the lovely Sarah here who's going to tell you a little bit about the history of Horse Hill and why they have camp here, etc. So I'm going to pass on to Sarah.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yay!
Well, welcome to Horse Hill. And thank you for coming. Thank you so much for bringing Greta past Horse Hill. This is our climate frontline in Surrey. In case you don't know, some of you might not know that just out of sight up this road there is an oil drilling site. They have been drilling, testing oil flows and producing a bit of oil here off and on since 2014. And last year they got permission to scale up massively. They got permission for 20 years of commercial production. So we, the local people, I live just up the road in Redhill where you're going tonight. We've been fighting this in different ways since 2010. There's been 3 successive rounds of planning applications where the company submits what they want to do. Everybody objects. We all write our very well-worded objections about all of the impacts, the local impacts, the traffic, the noise, the light pollution, etc. And importantly, the climate impacts. And that gets ignored. So the first 2 times this happened, they got permission first for 1 well, then for another 2 wells. We did what we could, nothing happened. So that's when direct action started. So I don't know if some of you came on the bike events and the marches and the protests we've had here. There have been camps here. So in 2016 there were a lot of people camping, slow walking to impede the test drilling that went on then. A smaller camp for 2018, and at the moment just Lee holding the camp, monitoring on his own heroically. Where are you, Lee? Not in sight, but thank you to Lee. But then last year, the company put in their biggest application yet for 5 more wells. So that's 4 more oil wells, 1 well for water reinjection, which is pumping all the wastewater contaminated with all the oil, chemicals, acids, etc., back underground, something which is known to cause earthquakes, which has been a blight here. But then we felt a bit different about it then. We thought, right, this time we've got a real chance of stopping this because, you know, everybody knows about the climate emergency now. We've had XR big actions in the last 2 years. The local council, Surrey, had declared a climate emergency. So we thought, well, this is never going to get approved. We did the usual thing. We wrote our objections. I think there were 1,600 submissions to the planning application, some of them very well researched. I wrote 2 myself. What happened? The council passed it. So they've basically now got permission to be producing a vast amount of oil, pumping it out of the ground for 20 years to come, long after the point at which we have to have stopped using oil, as we all know. You know, we just heard this summer the threat that we're headed for 4 degrees of warming. We need to stop this. And so we're fighting Horse Hill every way that we can. One of the things is a legal challenge. So I have called for something called a judicial review, which is like getting a judge in court to look at the decision that Surrey made and say, was it right? Was it legal that they've allowed this oil expansion here? And with lawyers, we've looked at all the things that they should have done. They should have, under the environmental impact regulations, a law. They should have looked at the long-term cumulative carbon emissions that's going to be produced. They didn't. They gave a figure for the carbon emissions to be produced on the site itself, so the diesel generators and the vehicle movements on the site. They should have looked at what's going to happen when they actually burn all that oil, which is the only point of getting it out of the ground is to burn it. So those emissions are very properly a result of what they're doing. They didn't consider those. They should have looked at the government's net zero obligation. It's a league. I know it's not soon enough. 2050 is nonsense. We need it to be sooner. Even so, the government has said it will be net zero by 2050. What on earth is the point of 20 years of oil drilling if that's the journey that we're going on? So we submitted our request legally. We raised money to pay lawyers. We went to a judge. The first judge turned us down. Second judge the same. We appealed, and the appeal judge, God bless him, Lord Leveson, said, yeah, these are important issues. They need to be discussed and fully heard in court. So that's going to happen in November. So please you can look at the news of that by following on social media the Wheeled Action Group, or Frack Free Surrey, both of those are local campaign groups. So that's our big focus at the moment. If we win that case, that is huge, because that then means not only has Horse Hill not got planning permission, it means any future fossil fuel application or high carbon development will have to properly consider all of the cumulative carbon emissions from that development going ahead. So that is huge. If that happens, if we win, great. But if we don't win, that's not the end of it. There's plenty of other ways of campaigning. So please, please support us with what we're doing here. Whatever, please just look out, follow us at Frack Free Surrey Wild Action Group. And thank you again for coming. This is really important. It's hidden away up a little lane. Lots of people don't know it's there, or people think it's small and harmless. It's not. This is exactly what we're fighting against. Thank you.
Thank you.